All right, we're going to dive deep into the effects of the government shutdown on the Villages market today. We're also going to be talking about market impact on sales. We're going to be looking at that, what's happening with the market specifically right now, and what that impact is with the government shutdown. We're going to look at that. Glenn Stein, Realty Executives here in the Villages. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday. It is November 7th, and a couple things I want to bring up. All right, number one. Let's look at this chart first of all. This chart is showing when the last government shutdowns were and what was the impact during that time period. What was the impact during that time period? So let's take a look at it. December 18th, 2018 rather, through January. It was a 35-day government shutdown, and you're looking at one of the longer shutdowns. And now we've seen a longer shutdown right now during the current one in 2025. But looking at this one, look at the last government shutdown. It was definitely a reduced number of sales. And what's interesting about this is a nationwide number. Okay, this is we're going to go back and look at the Villages in a minute, but you're talking about this end of 18, beginning of 19, looking at just under 5 million homes for sale during that time period. And that's aggressive. I mean, what we've seen over the last couple of years, we've seen more like 4 million, just under 4 million, just over 4 million sales nationwide. So that tells you what's happening nationwide. So this is just all the way through 2020, but it would be just about right here in number of sales. So it's definitely much lower right now, just because of the marketplace, because of interest rates going up. So that tells you something about the last government shutdown. We saw reductions there, and then it picked right up right after that. But also we have to realize, Decembers aren't usually fabulous months. But prior Decembers, look at that 17, and then let's look at 19 over here, much better. So still, it did impact the marketplace for sure. So that is something we do need to look at when we're what's happening to the marketplace with the government shutdown. That's one thing. All right, so let's take it a step further. Let's look at the MLS and what's happening with MLS, specifically here in the Villages. So overall market, actually we're seeing a better marketplace. So, looking at number of sales, that's the peak right there in 2021, 2015 through 2020. This is what it was. It's very, other than the trough of 22 and 23, it's actually been better than prior to 2020. And I'm going to show you that. This is the Villages MLS numbers, sales, 174 in the month of October, the biggest October we've ever seen in the history of the Villages MLS. Look at these numbers: 73, 93, 109, 139, 128, 144. That's prior to 2020. And then, after, we're looking at 155, 97, 133, 150, 174. That's the biggest October we've ever seen. And Octobers aren't the best. It's not the highest selling months, because we saw that in 2021. March, February beat all the way through July of 2021, beat this October. But as far as Octobers go, the best selling October, September was the tied for the best ever September in the Villages MLS. So encouraging news. And at the same time, when we look at number of sales 2018 through 2019, December of 2018, 110, early 2019, 79. That was definitely a trough. So you're looking at, the outlier after 2017, you're looking at just December's 2017 through all the way through 2024. The lowest one was 96 in 2022 for obvious reasons, interest rates going through the roof. But 110 was a low point during that time period for December's. 79 for January was extremely low. Actually, the lowest. We haven't seen anything close to that. Probably won't in the last 6 or 7 years. January 2019. So yes, government shutdown did impact this particular marketplace in the villages definitely impacted us. So that is saying something right there. So I do anticipate some kind of impact, but ironically enough, when we look at it, um, top selling September, government shutdown hadn't started yet. Top selling October, government shutdown was starting. However, those closings were mostly showings for August and September. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in December closings. That's going to be the real indicator. We're going to know more about that. So far, we're seeing a little bit of impact, but not a ton, at this moment. I'm hearing from my folks, we're getting really good feedback on showings. Open house showings are happening. This is probably the best I felt about this marketplace in the last 3 to 4 years as far as the consistency and the robustness of what's happening. So if you have questions, I'm the broker here at Glenn Stein Realty Executives. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Take care.